This is a video teaching you everything you need to know about using a Bunsen burner in your school chemistry lab. Firstly, we need to know the names of the different parts of the Bunsen burner. You can see here that your Bunsen burner should always be placed on a heat-proof mat to protect the bench that you're working on. At the bottom we have the base, which is going to support the Bunsen burner. And then you can see this rubber gas tube. This is connected to the gas tap, which is going to supply methane gas, which is the fuel that we're going to burn in the Bunsen burner. Above this, you can see a small air hole. This can be opened or closed to allow more or less air to react with the gas. This is opened and closed by swiveling around the collar, which is a small piece of metal which can swivel around the air hole, blocking it off. Then we have the chimney, which is also sometimes called the barrel. This is the main tube of the Bunsen burner, which the gas is going to travel up. Above this we have the flame, and this has an inner cone and an outer cone. And the very top of the inner cone is the hottest part of that flame. So this is the part that we should be using most of the time when we're heating things. So now we know what the parts of the Bunsen burner are called, let's think about some other things. What are Bunsen burners used for? Well, we use them in science both for burning things and for heating things, but specifically for precisely heating things to very, very high temperatures. We can't just use something like a candle because it wouldn't get hot enough and we couldn't control it. A Bunsen burner can heat things all the way up to about 1200 degrees C. We couldn't use a Bunsen burner if we're working with chemicals that are flammable. This means chemicals like ethanol that are easily set on fire. Instead of using a Bunsen burner, if we're working with a flammable substance, we need to use a hot water bath. This is a large metal tank full of hot water that's kept at a particular temperature and which we can use to heat things more gently. The gas that we burn using the Bunsen burner has a smell, but actually methane gas doesn't smell. The smell is another chemical called mercaptan, and it's added to the gas so that we know if the gas has been left on by mistake or if there's a gas leak. There are two types of flame that we can use when using a Bunsen burner. On the left you can see a roaring flame. This is a very pale blue flame and it can be quite hard to see if there's natural light in the room. On the right you can see the safety flame, which is much more orange coloured and far more visible. The roaring flame is triggered by the air hole being left open. This means that more oxygen can come in and can react with the gas. This leads us to a hotter flame. That flame also makes a funny roaring sound, hence the name, but also it can be incredibly hard to see. This flame is good for heating things, but it's very dangerous to leave your Bunsen burner with a roaring flame if you're walking away from it, because somebody else might not see it there. The safety flame is far more visible, and so this is the flame we use both when we're lighting the Bunsen burner and also if we're walking away from it so that others can see it. In order to have a safety flame, you need the air hole to be closed so that less oxygen is allowed in. When you light the Bunsen burner, it's important that you start with the air hole closed. You achieve this by swiveling around the collar until you can no longer see the air hole. We're then going to light the Bunsen burner using a splint, which is a thin wooden rod. We can use this to transfer fire from another Bunsen burner that has already been lit. It's important that as you're moving around the room, you make sure that you cover the splint with your hand so that there's no chance of you accidentally walking into somebody else and causing them injury. It's important that you wait until the flame is directly over the Bunsen burner before you turn on the gas. If you don't do this, then a lot more gas can come out of the gas tap and you'd be lighting a great big ball of methane, which wouldn't be safe. After you light the Bunsen burner, you should wipe out the splint on the heatproof mat. You should never blow it out because if you do this, small ignited particles of the splint can go up into the air and these could cause injury to somebody. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy your chemistry lessons with Bunsen burners. If you did find this video useful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more science videos coming soon.